The door slammed open with a force that shook the walls, and there stood my father, his face twisted in disbelief as he caught me mid-kiss with Ryan, our lips still brushing in the dim light of my bedroom. Time froze. His eyes widened, then narrowed into slits of fury, and in that instant, I knew the fragile world I'd built was crumbling. Ryan pulled away, his hands slipping from mine, but the damage was done. My secret life exposed in one brutal revelation. I staggered back, heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. "Dad, wait!" I stammered, but he was already roaring, his voice echoing through the house like thunder. "What the hell is this? Who is he?" Ryan grabbed his jacket, mumbling apologies, but my father blocked the door, his massive frame a wall of judgment. Inside, my mind raced. How could I explain this? I'd hidden it for years, burying the truth under layers of pretense, pretending to date girls from school, laughing at my friends' crude jokes about women. But Ryan, he was different. We'd met at the community college library, bonding over late-night study sessions that turned into whispered confessions. He was the first person who saw me, really saw me, without the mask. And now everything was unraveling. My mother rushed in, alerted by the commotion, her face paling as she pieced it together. "Alex, is this... Are you?" She couldn't even say the word, as if uttering gay would make it real. I wanted to scream that yes, that I'd known since I was 13, staring at the boys in gym class while forcing myself to look away. But the words stuck in my throat, choked by years of fear. Dad turned to Ryan, pointing a finger like a loaded gun. "Get out of my house. Now." Ryan shot me a look of pure agony before slipping past, leaving me alone with the storm. That night, the house felt like a prison. Dad paced the living room, his silence more terrifying than his shouts. Mom sat on the couch, twisting her wedding ring, her eyes red from unshed tears. "We raised you better than this," Dad finally said, his voice low and venomous. "This isn't you, Alex. It's a phase. Some confusion from all that liberal crap at college." I sat across from them, knees weak, trying to summon courage. But inside, doubt gnawed at me. Was he right? Had I chosen this path? Or was it thrust upon me? The church we'd attended every Sunday preached love but condemned people like me. Friends at school whispered slurs behind backs. And even in progressive Seattle, where we lived, hate lingered in shadows. I'd seen it. Guys beaten in alleys for holding hands. Was loving Ryan worth the risk? I retreated to my room, locking the door, but sleep evaded me. Memories flooded in. Ryan's laugh, the way his hand fit perfectly in mine during our secret walks in the park. He'd come out to his family years ago, facing rejection but emerging stronger. "You don't have to hide forever," he'd told me once, his eyes earnest. But hiding was all I knew. My father, a construction foreman with calloused hands and unyielding principles, had always been my hero. He taught me to fix cars, to stand tall, to be a man. What would he think now? The thought twisted like a knife. I'd betrayed him, shattered the image of the perfect son. As dawn broke, I stared at the ceiling, whispering to myself, "What have I done?" The weight of it all pressed down, suffocating, and I wondered if I could ever breathe freely again. The next morning, breakfast was a battlefield. Dad slammed his coffee mug down, spilling dark liquid across the table. "We're not ignoring this," he declared. "You're going to therapy. Fix whatever's broken in you." Mom nodded weakly, her support for him automatic after 30 years of marriage. I pushed my eggs around the plate, appetite gone. "It's not broken, Dad. It's who I am." The words escaped before I could stop them, igniting the fuse. He exploded. "Bullshit. You think I don't know what's going on? That boy's corrupted you." Ryan wasn't the corruption. He was the light in my darkness. But arguing felt futile. Inside, a storm raged. Part of me yearned to fight, to declare my love openly, but another part cowered, fearing exile from the only family I'd known. School that day was a blur. I avoided Ryan's texts, my phone buzzing like an accusation. In class, I doodled aimlessly, mind replaying the scene. Professor Hale lectured on social psychology, talking about cognitive dissonance, the pain of holding conflicting beliefs. That's me, I thought bitterly. Loving Ryan clashed with everything I'd been taught. By lunch, I couldn't take it. I met Ryan behind the library, our usual spot. He pulled me into a hug, but I stiffened. "What happened after I left?" he asked, concern etching his features. I told him, the words tumbling out in a rush. He listened, then said, "We can face this together." But could we? His family had disowned him initially, but they'd reconciled.
Mine?
Dad's ultimatum loomed. Change or leave. The choice gnawed at me, a moral quagmire. Was staying true to myself worth breaking my parents' hearts? As the day wore on, pressure built. Friends noticed my distraction. Jake, my roommate, joked about my mystery girl. I forced a laugh, but it rang hollow. That evening, back home, Mom cornered me in the kitchen. "Your father loves you, Alex. He's just scared." Scared? I was terrified. Of losing them, of facing the world alone. She hugged me, but it felt like goodbye. In bed that night, I scrolled through old photos, family vacations, Dad teaching me to fish. Tears came unbidden. Ryan texted, "I love you. We'll get through this." But doubt whispered, "At what cost?" The internal conflict intensified, a war between heart and heritage, and I knew the battles were just beginning. The ultimatum came like a guillotine blade, swift and merciless, during dinner 2 days later. Dad's voice steady as he said, "End it with that boy, or you're out of this house." Mom gasped, but he held up a hand, his eyes locked on mine, daring me to defy him. I froze, fork midway to my mouth, the room spinning as the full weight of his words crashed down. Inside, panic surged. Where would I go? I was only 21, scraping by on a part-time job at the coffee shop while studying graphic design. Ryan had offered his couch, but his tiny apartment was a world away from the comfort of home. "You can't mean that," I whispered, but Dad's jaw set firm.
Ido.
"This family doesn't tolerate sin." Sin, the word echoed from Sunday sermons, branding me an outcast. Mom pleaded, "John, let's talk about this." But he shut her down. "No, Mary. He's choosing deviance over us." Deviance? Loving someone felt like the most natural thing, yet here it was weaponized against me. I stormed out, grabbing my keys, driving aimlessly through Seattle's rain-slicked streets. My mind churned. How had it come to this? I'd always been the good son. Straight A's, no trouble. But this truth, buried deep, had erupted like a volcano. Ryan called, his voice a lifeline. "Come over," he urged. I did, collapsing into his arms on his worn sofa. "He wants me to break up with you," I confessed, tears stinging. Ryan held me tighter. "You don't have to. We can fight this." But fighting meant war, with family, with society. I'd seen the news. Hate crimes against gay men, politicians railing against the agenda. Was I ready for that battlefield? The next day, I skipped class, wandering Pike Place Market, the bustle a distraction from the turmoil inside. Vendors hawked flowers and fish, but I saw none of it. Instead, I replayed childhood memories. Dad cheering at my soccer games, Mom baking cookies after bad days. Losing them felt like losing myself. Yet denying Ryan meant betraying my soul. The dissonance tore at me, right versus wrong, love versus loyalty. By afternoon, I met Jake for coffee, needing normalcy. But he sensed something. "Dude, you look wrecked. Girl trouble." I hesitated, then blurted, "It's a guy." His eyes widened, then he shrugged.
Cool, man.
"Whatever floats your boat." Relief washed over me, but it was fleeting. Not everyone would be so accepting. Back home, tension simmered. Dad ignored me. Mom tiptoed around. That evening, she slipped into my room. "I found some articles online," she whispered, handing me printouts about conversion therapy. My stomach churned. "Mom, that's torture." She looked pained. "We just want what's best." Best for whom? Her words fueled my anger. But beneath it, hurt festered. I loved her, but her complicity stung. Alone again, I paced, mind racing. If I left, I'd be free, but broke and isolated. If I stayed, I'd suffocate in lies. The moral quandary deepened. Sacrifice self for family, or family for self. Ryan and I met secretly that night in a dimly lit bar, our booth a cocoon. "I can't lose you," he said, his hand on mine under the table. But fear gripped me. What if Dad followed through? "I need time," I replied, pulling away. His face fell, betrayal flickering. "Time for what?" "To decide if I'm worth it." Guilt stabbed deep. He was worth everything but the cost. As I drove home, rain blurred the windshield like my tears. Inside, the conflict raged fiercer. Love demanded courage, but fear whispered retreat. Work the next day was hell. Customers blurred together, my mind elsewhere. My boss, sensing distraction, pulled me aside. "Everything okay, Alex?" I nodded, but inside, no. That afternoon, a text from Dad. "Church tomorrow. We're talking to Pastor Mike." Dread coiled in my gut. The pastor, with his fire and brimstone sermons, would condemn me. I confided in Ryan via text. His response fierce. "Don't go. It's brainwashing." But defying Dad meant escalation. The pressure built, a volcano nearing eruption. At church, the pews felt like judgment seats. Pastor Mike pulled us into his office post-service. "Homosexuality is a choice," he intoned, quoting verses. Dad nodded vigorously.
He said silent, raw boiling.
Inside, questions swirled. Was it a choice? I tried praying it away, dating girls, nothing changed. As we left, Dad clapped my shoulder. "See, we can fix this." But nothing was broken except their expectations. That night, alone, despair hit. I'd lose everything for being me. Ryan called, voice breaking. "I can't wait forever." His words echoed my fear, betrayal looming from all sides. The emotional weight crushed heavier, doubts multiplying like shadows. Betrayal struck from an unexpected quarter when Jake, my supposed friend, outed me to our college group chat, his message popping up like a bomb. "Yo, Alex is gay. Saw him with some dude." Notifications exploded, my phone vibrating into oblivion as shock rippled through my social circle. I stared at the screen, betrayal burning like acid. Jake, who'd shrugged it off, now wielding my secret as gossip fodder. Heart hammering, I called him. "Why?" I demanded, voice cracking. "Dude, it slipped out. No big deal." No big deal? It was my life he toyed with. Hanging up, fury mixed with fear. Who else knew? By evening, whispers followed me on campus, stares, snickers. One guy from class sneered, "Faggot," under his breath. The word sliced deep, reopening old wounds from high school taunts I'd buried. Inside, self-loathing surged. Why couldn't I be normal? Ryan texted support. "Ignore them. You're stronger." But was I? The societal pressure, invisible yet crushing, amplified my isolation. Home offered no refuge. Dad had changed the locks. Literally, leaving a note. "Until you choose right." Mom answered my frantic knocks, her face etched with sorrow. "He's serious, Alex." Exiled from my own home, I crashed at Ryan's, his small space now my sanctuary. But even there, tension brewed. "This is what happens when you hide," he said gently. Hide? I'd hidden to survive. Our argument escalated. "You think it's easy?" I shouted. "My family's falling apart." He shot back. "And what about us? Am I just a secret?" Guilt twisted sharper. I was hurting him too. The moral dilemma peaked. Loyalty to family clashed with love, each demanding sacrifice. The next day, job loss compounded the chaos. My boss, a devout Christian, called me in. "Heard some rumors. We can't have that here." Fired on whispers, no proof needed. Unemployment loomed. Bills piling. Panic clawed. How to pay tuition. Ryan offered help, but pride rebelled. "I can't depend on you," I snapped, regretting it instantly. His eyes dimmed. "Then what are we doing?" The question haunted me, our relationship fracturing under strain. Inside, turmoil raged. Was love worth destitution? Society's judgment, from slurs to job loss, screamed no. Seeking solace, I visited my aunt in Tacoma, the only family outlier. "Your dad's wrong," she said over tea. "Love is love." Her words sparked hope, but doubt lingered. Could I convince them? Driving back, memories assaulted, Dad's proud smiles at graduations, now replaced by disdain. The loss ached, a void widening. At Ryan's, we talked deep into night. "I want a future with you," he confessed. "But not if you're ashamed." Ashamed? I wasn't of him. Of myself, maybe. The confession unlocked floods. Years of suppression, fearing rejection. Tears flowed, cathartic yet exhausting. But escalation came swiftly. Dad emailed, "Cut ties or no college fund." The fund, my lifeline for school. Without it, dreams deferred. I agonized. Education versus authenticity? Ryan urged resistance. Don't let him control you. But fear whispered compromise. The internal battle intensified, ethics blurring. Survival demanded pragmatism, but integrity screamed defiance. Campus became a minefield. Friends divided. Some supportive, others ghosted. A support group meeting offered respite, stories mirroring mine, pain shared. One guy shared his disownment, now thriving. Inspiration flickered, but my wounds festered. That night, Ryan and I clashed again. "Choose," he said, voice raw. "Us or them." The ultimatum mirrored Dad's, trapping me in a vice. Betray one love for another? The emotional torrent surged, despair deepening as choices loomed, each laced with regret. Work searches yielded nothing. Prejudices veiled in not a fit. Isolation grew, mind spiraling. Was coming out a mistake? Ryan's patience waned, our touches tentative. "I love you," he murmured, but doubt echoed. For how long? The night's silence amplified inner screams. Right and wrong entangled, sacrifices mounting. As dawn broke, resolve flickered, fight back. But at what price? The drama thickened, emotions rawer, the precipice nearer. The confrontation erupted in a family therapy session gone wrong, where Dad lunged across the room, his fist stopping inches from my face as I declared, "I'm gay, and I love Ryan. Deal with it." The therapist intervened, but the damage seared. His rage a mirror to my own buried fury. Mom wept openly, the room thick with shattered illusions. Back at Ryan's, I paced, adrenaline fading to dread. "What now?" he asked, concern lacing his tone. "Now, rebuild from ruins." But inside, vengeance stirred. Dad's near violence ignited defiance. I'd sacrificed enough: home, job, friends. No more. Yet, guilt gnawed. Had my words pushed him too far? The therapist's advice echoed. Boundaries are key. Boundaries meant distance, perhaps permanent. The ethical tightrope stretched thinner. Forgive for peace, or sever for self-preservation. The next blow, social media backlash. Jake's post went viral in our circle, attracting trolls. Messages flooded. Threats, Bible verses, disgust. One read, "Burn in hell." Terror gripped. Was I safe? Ryan installed extra locks, his protectiveness touching yet burdensome. "We should report it," he insisted. But involving police meant exposure, more judgment. Society's underbelly exposed, hatred raw. Inside, resilience cracked. Why fight a world that loathes us? Ryan held me as I broke, sobs racking. "Because we deserve happiness," he whispered. His strength bolstered mine, but doubt persisted. At whose expense? Job hunting intensified, rejections piling. One interviewer hinted, "We value traditional values." Code for bigotry. Frustration boiled. Merit ignored for orientation. Ryan suggested moving San Francisco where acceptance reigned. A fresh start. Tempting, but fleeing felt like defeat. Family roots ran deep. Abandoning them? The conflict tore deeper. Escape versus endurance. Mom called secretly. "He's hurting too." Her plea tugged heartstrings. "Come home, apologize." Apologize for what? Existing? Anger flared, but love tempered it. The push-pull exhausted, morals clashing like titans. A turning point. Protesting a anti-LGBT bill at the Capitol. Ryan dragged me, signs in hand. Chants filled the air, unity empowering. For the first time, I felt part of something bigger. The speaker shared his story, disowned, now advocating. Inspiration surged. Change was possible. But back home, reality bit. Dad's truck parked outside Ryan's, ambush. Talk, he demanded. We did, in a nearby diner, air thick. I can't accept this, he admitted, voice breaking. Vulnerability cracked his armor. Why not? Pressed. Because it's wrong. Wrong according to whom? Church, society? Tears glistened in his eyes. First time I'd seen him cry. Pity mingled with pain. He was trapped too, in outdated beliefs. The moment humanized him, complicating hatred. Post-talk, reflection consumed me. Ryan listened as I vented. He's not evil, just scared. Understanding dawned, but resolve hardened. I wouldn't bend. Yet the cost mounted, sleepless nights, anxiety spikes. Therapy alone now, unpacking layers, childhood suppression, internalized homophobia. You're worthy, the counselor affirmed. Slowly, self-acceptance bloomed, but thorns remained. Ryan's support wavered under strain, arguments frequent. I feel like a crutch, he confessed. Guilt compounded. Was I dragging him down? The relationship teetered. Love tested by fire. Societal ripples widened. Old friends reached out, apologetic. One, Sarah, shared her brother's coming out. Solidarity healed wounds. But Dad's silence post-diner stung. Mom updated. He's reading books. Progress? Hope flickered. Fragile. Inside, emotions churned violently. Forgiveness tempting, but betrayals scarred deep. As weeks passed, decisions loomed. Reconcile or cut ties? The drama peaked, hearts raw, sacrifices irreversible. Ryan and I made love, not physically, but emotionally, reaffirming vows in whispers. Yet, uncertainty loomed. Could we endure? The internal storm raged unchecked, heavier than ever. Redemption cracked open when Dad showed up unannounced at Ryan's door, his voice trembling as he said, I was wrong. Can we start over? Rain poured outside, mirroring the emotional deluge inside me. I stood frozen, years of pain surging, unsure if forgiveness was possible after the ultimatums, the exile, the near violence. He stepped in, hat in hand, eyes downcast. I've been talking to Pastor Mike, real talk, and reading books on LGBTQ plus experiences, he explained. Mom pushed him, he admitted. Ryan hovered nearby, protective. Why now? I asked, voice laced with suspicion. Because I almost lost my son. The admission hit like a wave, cracking my defenses. Inside, turmoil peaked. Trust him? After everything? But his sincerity shone, vulnerability raw. We talked for hours. Tears, apologies, revelations. He confessed fears rooted in his own upbringing. A father who'd beaten weakness out of him. Understanding bridged gaps, but scars remained. The moral reckoning. Forgive to heal, or hold grudges to protect. Post-visit, euphoria mixed with caution. Ryan was wary. Don't rush. Wise but hope bloomed. Family dinner followed weeks later, awkward but progress. Dad shook Ryan's hand, stiff but genuine. Mom hugged us both. Acceptance?
Tentative.
Yet, society lingered, hate mail persisted, job hunts stalled. I landed a freelance gig, graphic design for a queer-friendly firm. Empowerment surged, building my path. But reflections haunted. The journey's toll, lost friends, fractured bonds. Was it worth it? Absolutely, yet painfully. Ryan and I strengthened, trials forging steel. We're unbreakable, he murmured during a park walk, hands intertwined openly. Defiance felt liberating, but memories of hiding lingered. Community events helped, healing circles, pride marches. Stories shared amplified resilience. Inside, peace settled, but questions persisted. Had I chosen right? Sacrifices, home, security for authenticity. Climax came at a family gathering. An uncle spewed slurs. Dad shut him down. My son's gay, and I love him. Pride swelled, tears flowing. Validation after agony. But not all mended, some friends gone forever, prejudices enduring. Ryan proposed subtly, a ring in a quiet moment. Marry me, joy overwhelmed, but reality tempered. Legal, but societal battles raged. As months passed, normalcy returned, laced with growth. I advocated online, sharing my story, inspiring others. Backlash came, but support outweighed. Inside, emotions crested. Gratitude for survival, sorrow for losses. The narrative closed not in triumph, but reflection. Choices ripples eternal. Was forcing my family to confront their biases the right path, or should I have compromised my truth for harmony?